Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the difficulties of basically having neighbors with children that are very disrespectful and rude. Basically, again, I live in a community where, we're kind of like really close with our houses. Like obviously, we all have land, but it's still close. So it's just like if somebody's shouting or if somebody is, I don't know, if just like if there's a baby crying or something, like you can hear them. You could hear it a little bit, through the windows. Like for instance, my house was built in like 1978. So being that, we have like still a lot of old windows and we have a lot of renovations that need to be, areas that need to be renovated and stuff. It's very, very, very easy to hear my kids screaming or to hear my youngest daughter Naira screaming in the back because like our windows are so thin, just like the walls. I mean, you could hear anything. But what I'm just trying to say is that it's kind of annoying sometimes because I'm the type of person that doesn't like people looking at me because I just feel like, you know, I don't know, I don't know, it just makes me nervous. It makes me nervous and then it makes me like, okay, what did I do wrong? What's going on? Why are you staring at me like that? Is there something on my face? Whatever. So, being that, I'm close to people, where I live, and again, I live in a cul-de-sac. To me, it's the worst part because you were like kind of like a little tight knit together, like really close and everything. Like, I feel like we're kind of like we're just too close. And like I said, you could hear everything and anything. And there's sometimes like we have people who, have parties, not recently, but like probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago, like we had people who had parties and they were our next door neighbors and they basically were really, really, really loud with their music to the point that like there were some times that they had parties until like 4 in the morning. And I'm not the type of person to really call because, I don't want to be that type of neighbor to say, oh my gosh, well, this neighbor is, she's rude or she's annoying because she keeps calling about X, Y, and Z. I don't want to be the stir of the neighborhood, basically. So, basically, again, we have neighbors that basically like to party, which who wouldn't? Because there's really right now, especially now, there's not too much to do. So everybody's trying to figure out something just to keep themselves entertained and to still have, a good time. And like I said, it's not really the fact that like we're close, it's just like the fact that they're kids. The kids. That's the biggest thing. Again, excuse me. Again, basically, where I live in a cul-de-sac. We have kids that have basketball hoops. We have kids who have, you know, I don't know, anything you could think of, toys, anything basically that's kid-wise. So basically, I have these few kids that come around my house, and they're very disrespectful and they don't know how to stay off my property. And like I said, I try not to really say too much because, again, I don't want to be you know, the bad neighbor the bad neighbor of the block or of the cul-de-sac or whatever you want to call it. So I just kind of stay to myself. But there's so many times where these kids literally they just grind my gears, and they know how to push those buttons because it's just like you have your own property. So why are you here? Why are you trying to start something on my property? Anyway, for instance, last year, I basically, again, I have my two kids. My husband is a truck driver. So, being that, we're always home, I had these kids who literally was just pissing me off because they just came out of nowhere playing their basketball, which was fine. I didn't mind. I didn't care. But it was the fact that like the house is kind of like we have like a lot that's vacant and there's no house there or anything, so it's just the woods. And then there's a house. So the house that is, you know, with the basketball hoop and the basketballs, the kids basically ended up putting the basketball on our property and leaving it there. Every time I threw it on their side, it always ended up back here. I had so many people that told me to just like, if it hit your property or if it came next to your property, just pop it. But again, I'm not the type of person. I don't want to be rude to you, but I expect respect. But of course, these kids nowadays, they don't have respect for anybody. So, a lot of the times my husband was just like, oh, just pop them. Don't care anymore. Just do what you got to do. And again, I never did it. So, I kind of just like let it go, but I kept kicking the ball to the property every single day, early in the morning, because again, I didn't want to start anything. So, rewind to now. And well, rewind to like last year, I want to say probably August-ish. It was to the point that like we had like kids from like the I guess like the main roads and everything that came over here to us. And boy, it pissed me off because there was this one kid with the motorcycle, I guess like a toy motorcycle or whatever. But he came over here and he saw me, I guess he saw me like in the window, like looking through my window or whatever. And they just threw the ball, threw their toys, threw things on my property, and it just pissed me off. So I ended up telling my husband about it, and he ended up ordering a camera. Well, not a camera, a computer that we built ourselves. And it was just to just watch these kids because, I mean, who wants to do that? Who the heck wants to stay or live somewhere where you have to constantly watch your house and watch, these kids like they're your kids? Come on. I don't like doing that, and I don't like babysitting anybody's kids when it comes to it's your job. If you're, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're busy doing whatever, it's your responsibility to watch your own kids. There's no reason why they should be messing with your neighbors. There's no reason why they should be just being the little devils they can be. And I'm sorry for saying that because, like I said, I do love children. But the children that are very disrespectful to especially adults and everything, I'm sorry, I just grinds my gears. Anyway, again, there are times where, you're supposed to be monitoring your kids. If you're at home, if you don't want to come out, then I'm sorry, have your kids stay on your property. There should be no, and I mean no reason why kids should be harassing, you know, somebody else's property, regardless if you like them or not. I mean, they don't know me. They don't know anything about me. And like I said, I don't do nothing to anybody around here. I keep to myself. I keep my kids to them. I keep my kids with me. I don't trust these people. I'm sorry. I am just that type of person. I have to get to know you in order for me to trust you. Because, like I said, my kids are like a diamond in the rough. And they're my precious gold. And like I said, if anything happens to them, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, all I'm saying is that if you have kids, especially now, you know, please, please, please teach them to respect other people's properties because there are a lot of times where, God forbid, especially on my property, we have rocks. We have, what are those things called? Stumps. We have them all over the place. And I get worried because I'm like, oh my gosh, if these kids are playing on the property and somebody trips and hurts their face or hurts their body in some way, shape, or form, their parents are going to come after me and my husband. And it's just like, but your kids were on our property. For what? Just to just to tick us off. So, like I said, please, 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 I advise you, keep your kids on your own property. Whatever you have to do, because there shouldn't be any reason that they should be playing on somebody else's property, let alone, you know, just being mischievous and being rude. I mean, like I said, I know we're living in 2020, and nowadays kids are just rude. They curse, they scream, they do everything in the book, and it's really heartbreaking because, like I said, I just, I don't know, it just breaks my heart because I always go back and I'm like, well, I'm kind of like like a 90s 2000 kid. So I was always brought up to respect my neighbors, respect my elders, respect any authority that is even like even kids as well. Like I've always had respect for people. I've never treated anybody in any way, shape or form that I did not want to be treated as. And like I said, I have my kids and I get afraid. I'm sorry, I get afraid that if I take my kids out, then, these kids are going to do something really, really ridiculous. And like I said, I just try not to really stay, and have my kids playing in the front. And again, because of the stumps and everything, I have a big deck, which I still, again, everything is, I still gotta, clean it and, fix it up and everything so that they can have fun. But, like I said, there was another time too where, what was it? I'm trying to think. I'm sorry. Yeah, there was another time where, like the kids basically, I don't know, like they just do things. They just do things to just like itch me, and I'm like one of those people that get really annoyed, but I just go to my husband. I feel like I'm like a tattletale, like Daniel, so like I said, I basically tell him everything and let him know, or let him figure out what he wants to do and how he's going to do it, because my husband is like a thinker. I mean, like he'll discuss it with me. He'll say, Jeanette, do you want to do this, or we could try this, or we can do this, we could do that. He's like, what is your decision on it, or how do you feel about it? Sometimes I'm like a deer in a headlight. I don't know because I don't know anything about technology. I'm sorry. I'm really basic. But anyway, I mean, like I said, for instance, there was another time where I think recently, I was raking the front of my yard because of the fact that I guess when it was wintertime, the plow people, they came and they kind of dug up our dirt a little bit. So it kind of looks really tacky. So eventually I'm going to buy seeds, and fix it up. But I was raking over there, and all of a sudden I see like toys. I see a broken water bottle. I saw a Hot Wheels car or whatever. And I'm looking at myself like, what is this? Like, whose crap is this? I mean, I'm sorry. And it's just like, why? Why do you choose to just irritate us? Anyway, that's that. But then there was another time. Again, like I said, I have the 2020 Hyundai Palisade, and like I said, that's another one of my babies. That car is my everything. That's the fourth. That's my fourth everything because it goes. My babies are number one. Well, no, I'm sorry. That's my third everything. My two babies are my number one. My husband's my second, and then my car. Well, and then obviously, but they, somebody was playing with their ball and it was aiming, like it was coming closer and closer to my car, and my eye just went like this. So, like I said, I get very irritated, and I'm very like anxious, and there's sometimes I just want to open my window and say, "Kids, get the frick off my property." But my husband's like, "Don't say nothing." So he literally that day he got dressed and he walked outside and he went out there, took the ball, rolled it out to the main road, and they just played with it. But it's just like these kids do it. For me, they do it to us on purpose because they know that I get annoyed and I'm always watching. And then now, since my husband put up this computer, I'm able to see it and I'm able to basically capture it. And if they do something that's very rude and very, that's gonna basically hit my car or damage something on my property, I have proof. I have proof, and I'm going to send it straight to whomever I need to send it to because, like I said, my husband and I were homeowners. This is our house. And just like anybody else, renter, homeowner, whomever, I and they, we all want our properties, our lives to be safe, happy, and stress free. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to say anything bad. I just want people to understand that, you know, being that I'm always alone and everything, I don't like to deal with drama. Who does? Who does? And being that people don't, want to watch their kids, I'm sorry to say, if you don't want to do it, then figure something else out because it's not my responsibility to sit here and babysit your kids if they're gonna, cause mischief on my property only. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. And I'm just, like I said, I'm letting people know because it gets to the point where I can't babysit your kids and watch my kids at the same time. And I'm not gonna do it. It's just gonna be, you know, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna go straight to where whoever I need to go to and let them deal with it because I'll have the proof. But anyway, like I said, you know, I don't like being like this. I don't like being this type of person because I'm not. I'm very nice to people, and there's a lot of times where people take too much of advantage. So, like I said, I need to keep what's mine safe and secure and happy, just like anybody else. So, again, what can you do? But anyway, thank you for watching and have a great night.